The missiles and bombs dropped by Putin's Russia on Ukraine are not very high precision and do not always work. However, this does not mean they cause any fewer casualties. Enemy aircraft launch missiles even without flying into Ukrainian airspace. This change in tactics is a result of the good work of our air defense forces. Corruption and negligence, which prosper in Russia's defense, work in Ukraine's favor. This is the second month of the invasion in which Ukraine has been asking for help closing her skies from bombings, and, in this second month, she is still doing this by herself. Due to our own air defense forces and gifts from our partners, Russian planes which fearlessly hurled bombs and missiles at Ukraine in the first few weeks of the invasion now approach Ukrainian cities and positions with fear. So, Moscow has changed its tactics. It's saving aircrafts, instead sending long-range cruise missiles, even without flying into the airspace of Ukraine.
One rocket costs several $1 million, but they still believe that it will be cheaper, more reliable, and less frightening for their pilots.
In one day on March 26th, Putin's Russia fired 70 missiles at Ukraine, but only 8 of them reached their targets. This is the result of the persistent work of Ukrainian air defense forces, as well as Russian corruption and negligence. According to US intelligence, from 20 to 60% of Russian cruise missiles do not work properly because they are Soviet and therefore old and defective.
Some missiles do not work at all. The reason may be poor storage or maintenance.
The same is true for the high explosive bombs which are dropped from planes on the homes of Ukrainians. They do not explode despite their enormous power. This is largely because they are already defective and out of operation. But modern Russian missiles are not perfect. This is confirmed by the war in Ukraine.
Look at the experience of countries that bought missiles in Russia, including hurricane volley fire systems, which were already manufactured in modern Russia. Azerbaijan used these systems in 2016. There were different cases. They did not work, or even the missiles did not fly after the installation that launched them.
To launch missiles, Russia often uses its GLONASS system, which barely covers Ukraine.
If the GPS system covers the whole world, the GLONASS system has much fewer satellites. That's why the efficiency of some shootings is much lower.
It is getting harder with long-range missiles like the Caliber, and also with ballistic missiles such as the Iskander or its aviation modification, the Dagger. They fly far faster, and it's much harder for Ukrainian air defense forces to cope with them. The only good thing here is that Russia does not possess many of them, and they're extremely expensive.
They used virtually the entire supply of Caliber and naval missiles. Now they need about a year to make the same 100 missiles.
Ukraine quickly changed the situation on the ground and, having no choice, every day protects its skies alone, with overexertion and great losses. That's why our authorities ask NATO countries to close the skies since the very first day of the full-scale invasion by Putin's horde, at least to help us with aircraft or air defense systems. And, while the Western countries delay their decision, Ukrainians pay for it with their lives. Oksana Mikhailova, Factory Program, ICTV, United News.